Ladies and gentlemen, the day has arrived. Based on what you see in front of me on this table, you can probably guess what has happened. After 14 or 15, I'm not sure how the math exactly adds out, long years of waiting, the NASCAR Cup Series will finally make its debut at the Iowa Speedway, bringing back the NASCAR Xfinity Series for the first time since 2019. And I am completely I don't have words. I do not have words. I mean, Saturday, Brett Moffitt wins. The Iowa Hawkeyes win. Yeah, that shouldn't be surprising. They should be better than that, but whatever. It is what it is. Sunday, Ryan Blaney wins. Kind of is what it is. The Jets win, or the Jets played well, didn't win. The Vikings did win. A pretty good weekend, right? Everything's going great. Brett Moffitt winning really helped the whole weekend. Everything's great. Makes it a lot more fun to see your guy go out and win. And then boom, Monday at 11 o'clock, I suddenly see this thing pop up that says NASCAR Cup Series at Iowa on June 16th. And oh my gosh, it's real. It's freaking real. So yes, as you can probably guess, I will be going to that. I will be setting my calendar and my plans, and tomorrow, as soon as they announce it, whenever it sounds like it's going to be announced, the second tickets are available, I am getting some. I was at the first Xfinity race back in 2009. Boom. The one that Brad Keselowski won over Kyle Busch. It was a great duel. And actually, if I go back and look at the footage, I can probably see myself as a 10-year-old kid. Well, I was about 13, but I could probably find myself standing down in Victory Lane because I was just off to the side of Victory Lane right outside the fence. And yeah, I got to go look and see if I can find my old self there. But this it's long overdue. That being said, here's what I will say for anybody looking to go to Iowa. One, of all the tracks I've been to, Kansas, Bristol, Daytona, Chicago, Pocono, Indy, Gateway, all those tracks, Iowa is the second best viewing track I've ever been to. Bristol is the best. I mean, good grief, Bristol is the best track probably in a lot of ways, but, when you're at Bristol, you can see the whole track, and the cars are never that far away. It's very good for the view of the spectator. Iowa is second best. Very good view. You can see from just about anywhere. Even if you're on the very lowest level, you might lose them a little bit on the backstretch and low in turn 3, but you can see them. And because it's a smaller track, they're not that far away like they would be at, say, Kansas or Chicago, where it's a mile and a half, a little more stretched out. Okay, multi-groove. When it first started, it was the bottom and the middle. Now it's really the top, the second to top, and then on the restart, the bottom. And it really does work its way up. I would expect to see a lot of slide jobs as ways to pass. I hope they don't bring any resin or traction compound. I just think what they'll be able to hopefully do is sail it in on the low side and pull slide jobs, which would make the racing even better. So yeah, just a quick note, so those of you know what to expect. The viewing is great. The facilities are a little old. I will be honest. When it comes to like up-to-date facilities, they probably have some of the oldest in terms of things like concession stands, bathrooms, things of that nature. Just built in 2006, and I don't think they've really changed much since. That being, it does sound like this cup date comes with a big chunk of money from the TV revenue that should help them renovate and make changes to this track to really help it in the long run as well, which I'm very excited for. Parking, you park over in turn 2. Could be a little bit of a walk. I've done it for years. It doesn't bother me that much. But I have noticed it is a decent little walk, but it's honestly not that much different from, say, a Kansas. So, sometimes you got to walk. Honestly, now I think about it, yeah, just about every track you have to walk quite a bit, so scratch that. You have to walk at all of them. It's not really that different. Now, I will say this, the fan zone and the pedestrian tunnel. Pedestrian tunnel is all the way down in like the middle of turn 1 and 2. So if you are going to walk down to the pedestrian tunnel, it's a lot of walking. It's not like Bristol, where you kind of just walk down to turn 3 and scooch under the racetrack, or Kansas, where it's down in turn 1. Decent walk down the grandstand, but it's down in turn 1. This is all the way out and around. It's one tunnel for the trucks and the pedestrians. There's no multi-tunnel system or anything like that. So just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. But again, enough about the little specifics. At the end of the day, this is an event that, and I will stress this incredibly, how important it is. As NASCAR will put this event on, it's not going to be Hy-Vee, is my understanding. And if it is Hy-Vee, I am over the moon because Hy-Vee did such a good job. But if it's not Hy-Vee, NASCAR has to do a very good job with things like managing traffic, concessions, and things of that nature. Hy-Vee did a great job of outsourcing. They said we had 80,000 people were at the race this year. They can't handle that many concessions. So what they do, they brought in a food truck competition, and they had food trucks all over turn 1 and 2. And that was your new concession stands. You could just go there. Obviously, their partnership with Mountain Dew and Pepsi, they had a lot of Pepsi stands, and you could go get a free Pepsi Zero, or a Mountain Dew Zero, or a Pepsi Zero. So those types of things, but that's something NASCAR has to be prepared. They cannot go into this with the lazy approach that they had back in 2019, 2018, 2017 in the Xfinity races when we would show up there. There was no midway. There was very little effort put forward. NASCAR's going to have to put the effort in. And that being said, I think it will. And it's mostly because of the Cup Series. I remember this race, 2009 Xfinity race, that place was sold out. That place was packed. People were excited. And we got to see guys like Brad Keselowski, like Kyle Busch, like Carl Edwards. Cup guys were still at that time coming down to run Xfinity. And those races were selling out. Once the Xfinity and Cup Series drivers were pretty well split and you never saw Cup guys anymore, that was where the attendance started to dwindle a little more. And I know everyone always say, well, hey, it's a race is a race. You should go. And I did go. So there is that. But the Cup names are going to bring enough of a crowd. I am not worried about that at all. I don't think we're going to have an issue. The crowd will be there. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, if these tickets are sold out within a week. I mean, it's that type of excitement. People have been waiting since 2006 when this track opened and 2009 when they first got an Xfinity race for this. So you starve a fan base for 15 years. Don't be shocked if this thing sells out real quick. I'm obviously being very optimistic. I don't know how many seats they're going to have. They're probably going to have to bring in temporary grandstands because I think the original grandstand only holds like 40. And then they have to put all the extras in to put in the other 40. Yeah, 40. That would go on top of that to make 80. So yeah, I would expect them to hopefully try to pack that thing like Hy-Vee IndyCar weekend did. I would hope to see Hy-Vee IndyCar almost, using the same stands, so the scaffolding and stuff they put up in the corners for their big suites. I would love to see them put that stuff in there because at the end of the day, they're going to be there in a month after the Cup Series is there, and I would love for them to get Hy-Vee involved because, like I said, Hy-Vee did such a good job. I let them do what they just did before, but just add Cup Series to it. I think they can do a great job. So, yes, I will say it up front. Their facilities are a little more run down, probably going to be more bare bones than any other track out there, and I'm still super excited. I'm still going to go to both races. I cannot wait to see the Cup Series finally at this racetrack. So, I am absolutely pumped up about this event. I cannot wait to get my tickets and get that set up. I saw the rumor about Montreal, and I said I would need Canada to screw this up. I really need them to screw it up, and I think Canada may have screwed it up, but I am happy. I could not be happier that Canada screwed it up. Now, that being said, I do think NASCAR needs to go to Montreal at some point, but I would much rather them go to Montreal at the sacrifice of one of the Darlington dates until they fix the racing, or at a track that we have 2 dates at and the racing's not as good. I love the idea of one date. You've seen what it's done for Michigan and Pocono and Watkins Glen and all these places where they have one date and they sell it out. And it's a big deal, and that's what we need to see a lot of, and I hope Iowa could be a mainstay. But at the end of the day, if they said Iowa's on a every other year basis and they're going to go every other year between Iowa and Chicagoland, I can live with that. When we haven't had one for 15 years, if they said every other year is the best you're going to get, I will take it. So it'll be awesome. I wasn't sure what my new track going into next year was going to be, but I think I've already got it picked out now, and I am just completely... I'm so excited, man. I am so incredibly excited. So any of you guys that are hoping to go to the Iowa Speedway, I hope you guys can make it. Iowa in June is usually pretty good. It's not going to be super, super hot. Should be in the 70s and 80s. It almost never touches 90s, so should be a pretty good day to be outside and be out at the track. And man, I can't wait. What a fun time it's going to be. So anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts about the Iowa Speedway getting to come to Cup and what your thoughts are on it. If you've ever seen a race there, let me know. Or if you haven't, let me know there too. And shoot any questions below. I'm not the biggest Iowa Speedway expert. I've been there enough times to know a good chunk of the stuff about it. But yeah, I'd love to get to chat in the comments below. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This has been Race Craze. And we're going racing at the Iowa Speedway next June.